Hi everyone, so today my presentation for our individual capstone project is going to be on one of the big four accounting firms, and I chose to do PricewaterhouseCoopers. So starting off, a little bit of the external factors, we're going to talk about the world of accounting as a whole. So the revenue of accounting, tax prep, and payroll services was forecasted to generate around $156 billion by the end of 2018. In the first quarter of 2018, the CPA Outlook Index score was the highest it had ever been since 2011. And according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the employment of accountants and auditors is projected to grow 10% from 2016 to 2026, which is actually the fastest growth rate than all other average occupations. So next, we're going to talk about the competition of PricewaterhouseCoopers. So we have the big four accounting firms. We have PwC, Deloitte, E&Y, and KPMG that all make up the big four accounting firms. And in 2018, combined, these firms produced a total revenue amount around $148.24 billion and employed just over 1 million people worldwide. So as we can see in the first image, this gives an overview of the U.S. industry of accounting. Revenue of accounting services in the U.S. is around $94 billion, as we can see at the top. The number of bookkeeping, accounting, and auditing clerks in the U.S. are around 1.53 million employees. And the number of auditors and accountants in the U.S. is around 1.26 million employees, with California actually being the leading state to employ accountants and auditors. The Big Four are in fact the leading companies in the U.S. and basically in the world in the accounting industry, with $19.9 billion being brought in by the largest firm, which is actually Deloitte and not PwC. So who is their main competitor? As I mentioned, Deloitte actually beat out PwC last year. In the right, as we can see, it's not by too much. And E&Y is falling in third, and KPMG is coming in last. But as we can see, that their revenues are pretty close in proximity. They're not too far off from one another. Porter's 5 forces. So this is the analysis I chose to do for PwC. So first we're going to start with the threat of new entrants. So new entrants will be 25 to 35-year-olds that are branching out from large firms or their corporate jobs and starting their own smaller local firms. However, there seem to be sort of tiers in the accounting world. So the Big Four is actually at the top of the food chain. They're competing against one another. Therefore, PwC does not really have to compete with these smaller entry-level firms that we are going to see popping up around the globe. These smaller firms will compete with other small firms based off of location, niche services, and price. However, M&As do occur frequently in the accounting world, and I know we talked about M&As a lot in this course, especially when it comes to outsourcing for niche services. The accounting world, especially with the Big Four, that is huge. So bargaining power of suppliers. The main costs associated with accounting firms are typically rent, wages, and the cost of technology for different softwares, computers, calculators, and so on. With the increase in technology nowadays and the increased use of cloud technology, firms are becoming more independent in a sense of customers not having to bring all their documents to a specific firm. They can basically just upload them online through cloud technology, and this also enables employees to not have to do their work in the office. And when it comes to wages, firms are looking to hire talented young individuals to their firms, so therefore wages are very competitive, so this is a big power for PwC. Last, technology is rapidly growing, as we all know, especially in the accounting industry. Software costs are constantly weighted within firms, and all firms are using different softwares for different services. So whether it be bookkeeping, auditing, tax prep, they're going to use all different softwares for each type of service. So next, the bargaining power of customers. Considering there are several components of the field of accounting and different consumers require different services, this sort of varies a lot depending on the service. PwC does more of tax and auditing and assurance rather than actual bookkeeping and payroll services. So now more than ever with new technology, I foresee there being a lower client turnover within PwC's firm. And as we can see to the image on the right of the slide, PwC's customer satisfaction remains relatively high. Their recommendation levels are 8.2, which is above their goal of 8. Their Net Promoter Score is actually down 1 point from last year, but nonetheless is still a 38. and their client satisfaction is 8.1, which again is higher than their target of 8. So next we have risk of substitutes. When it comes to the services of auditing insurance, due to the regulatory environment, there are really no risks here in terms of bookkeeping, payroll, and tax services. However, technology is in fact taking over a huge portion of these services. Several software companies are releasing extremely user-friendly programs that competent business owners are now utilizing for their businesses instead of going to accounting firms. As we can see, we have QuickBooks Online, Free Agent, FreshBooks. Those are just a few of the cloud accounting technologies that companies are coming out with today. I would say this is one of the most important forces for PwC, mainly because technology is inevitably a risk for all accounting firms. Either the firm adapts to and works with the technology, or they fail due to the technology. So in order to stay relevant in today's world, accounting firms really do have to recognize the power of technology and take measures in order to change with the times, or else they will be left in the dust. Competitive rivalry. So the other firms that make up the Big Four are really the main competitors of PwC. We also have the sort of mid-tier firms such as Grant Thornton, BDO Global, RSM Tenon, and Baker Tilly International. These are sort of the firms that are in the middle of the lower level local sort of smaller firms, and then not quite at the Big Four level. So next, moving on to internal factors, the mission and core values of PwC. So we have PwC's purpose, according to their website, is PwC strives to build trust in society and solve important problems. It defines the difference we seek and make in the world. It's why we do what we do. Their values define the expectations we have for working with each other and our clients. Although we come from different backgrounds and cultures across the firm, our values are what we have in common. They capture our shared aspirations and expectations and guide how we make decisions and treat others. They're what makes us, us. So one value that I found pretty intriguing, considering I talked about this heavily regarding external factors, is their value called Reimagine the Possible. This shows that PwC is acknowledging the heavy increase in automation and technology as a whole, and they are adapting to the times regardless of age in the work environment. So under their digital fitness excerpt here, they put, at PwC, we recognize that we are operating in a business landscape that's becoming more and more disrupted by digital technology. We know that a digital mindset is critical to success in today's marketplace. We are collectively raising the digital IQ of all partners and staff in tech, digital, and data analytics with tools like our digital fitness app. The app contains a learning assessment that gauges where current digital skills stand, and once our people complete the assessment, they are given a score and then offered a personalized learning feed with recommended learning assets and quizzes that will help increase their scores. So as we can see, that's a huge leap right there for PwC in regards to technology and the increase of data analytics, and that's great that they took that extra measure to make an app specifically for their employees to grow better in their organization. So let's talk some numbers. So here we have a basic profit and loss statement that PwC releases annually on their website. As we can tell from the P&L, their net revenues have increased a good amount from the prior year. Additionally, their operating costs are up mainly in the salaries department. So that sort of shows us that we can, the PwC is making some internal operational changes. Their overall profit is up around $6,000 from the prior year as well. So here I have included their market trend analysis from 2015 to 2019, which you can see their market share peaking mid-2018 and then dropping around their year end at 12/31/2018. So a lot of their major clients, considering they do have a lot of Fortune 500 clients, they have a 12/31 year end, so this could be due to their lack of services needed after year end, but I expect to see their market share increasing again as 2019 goes on. So revenues, as I mentioned before, PwC's revenues are in fact up 7% from last year while investing and repositioning their portfolio. In the Americas alone, revenues grew by 4%, and the majority of their revenues, as we can see in the image here to the right, is actually in assurance and auditing services. An interesting excerpt I found on their website reads, "The increasing complexity of business, the emergence of new technologies, the regulatory environment, and increase in stakeholder interest have driven demand for our broader assurance services, particularly in areas such as cybersecurity and privacy, advanced data analytics, as well as enterprise system solutions. Companies are seeking broader digital solutions and insights to address governance, risk, and compliance." This shows that PwC recognizes the emergence of technology, like I said, and big data in their accounting field, and they're trying to do everything in their power in order to apply this to the world of auditing. PwC's growth. So while we have grown significantly, I'm more proud of the fact that we've repositioned our portfolio and our competencies, we've invested in our people, and we've invested and given back to the communities in which we live and work. That is a quote there from their chairman, Bob Moritz. PwC people rising from 236,235 employees in 2018 with now 250,930 in 2018. So that's around a 6% increase from the prior year. They acquired 429 new clients in the year, with 86% of their total clients being Fortune Global 500 companies, as I mentioned before, and 100,000 plus entrepreneurial and private businesses. So how does PwC stay relevant? So this is a quote actually again from their chairman, Bob. We have to disrupt and transform ourselves. So we are in the process of a major investment in our people. Upskilling our people to be more relevant and knowledgeable about digital technologies is a huge undertaking for us, but it's going to pay back with long-term dividends. Second is the type of people we're bringing into the organization. This has changed a lot. If you take a step back and look at the number of recruits we take in off campus, the reality is they're not just finance majors and tax professionals. They're scientists, technologists, engineers, mathematicians, and the like. And last but not least is the direct hiring that we're doing, and if necessary, alliances and partnerships with other organizations to bring those relevant skill sets in so that we can deliver well against the needs of our clients. So the future of PwC, these are just some recommendations that I made after doing my analysis. Embrace technology and continuously advance their software along with employee knowledge, which, as we can see after doing our analysis, that is exactly what PwC is doing. Dominate the assurance and auditing departments because that is where they're going to gain their most revenue. Expand more around the globe. PwC currently represents 157 countries and they have 743 offices and locations worldwide. Continuously foster a good work environment while searching for the best of the best talent. As we can see by a lot of their quotes and stuff from their chairman, they do focus on their people a whole lot and they are constantly seeking the best talent. Focus on the quality of services and also mergers and acquisitions, which they mentioned that they are repositioning their portfolio and constantly looking for different partnerships and alliances with other firms. So thank you guys for viewing my presentation and feel free to ask any questions or make any additional comments on PricewaterhouseCoopers. Thanks.